Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jemima. Today we are going into another series, the pros and cons of renting an off-campus accommodation. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything that you should know before renting an off-campus accommodation. Last week I talked about all you should know before staying in the school hostel. If you've not seen that video, I'll put the link up for you. With that said, let's get started. The first thing that you should know before renting an off-campus accommodation is that you should start early. I really do not know about your school, but for my school, good off-camp student lodges gets picked up early. It gets picked up so if you're not fast enough, if you're not early enough, you will not be able to rent the best school lodges. And when I say the best, there are so many things that makes it best based on whatever preference that you have. The second thing I'm going to tell you is please inspect the room yourself. If you stay far away and you cannot go there yourself, you can actually tell your friend or anybody around that you trust to go and inspect for you, because there are so many things that pictures will not be able to show you. But it's when you go there yourself that you'll be able to see all these things that ordinarily you wouldn't have seen if you had just relied on pictures that the agent sends to you. One more thing I'm going to tell you is please talk to the resident of that lodge. Talk to the resident of that compound. Yes, I know you may be somehow talking to them in the presence of your agent, but take out time. Go there alone without your agent. Talk to the resident, ask them how the environment is, ask them questions, ask them things you should know before you move into that compound. There are so many things that you would never know if you don't ask the resident. So please, before you pack into that accommodation, make your research, do your research, ask the resident questions. Another thing is, make sure that there is light, make sure there is water. For some lodges that probably do not have electricity bills, find out how do they have light. Is there a lister? Is there a generator for the lodge? How do students contribute money for fuel? Do students contribute money for diesel? Ask these questions. Ask also water. How often do they pump water? Is water running in your room? Just general questions about light and water. Be sure about all these things before you pack into the house. For electricity, you should know if there are bills, if the last person living in your house left bills for you. Don't pack into a new house and inherit bills that have not been paid. Please do your research properly. Another thing that you should know is check the distance. What's the distance from your lodge to your school? I remember in my 100 level, the lodge that I rented, I couldn't pay 15 naira. It was 100 naira I was paying from my lodge to school, and it was not funny. I made up my mind that in my 200 level I will rent somewhere else. So in my 200 level and 300 level, I stayed in a place that was like trekkable, like 5 minutes walk from my lodge to my school gate, and that helped me a whole lot. So it depends on what you want to, but for me, I would advise you choose a place that is close to your school gate. Another thing I would like you to find out before you pack into that lodge is security. How is the environment? Is there a security man? The security man that's there, how is he paid? Just find out these things. How is the environment? Is armed robbery rampant in that area? Is stealing rampant? What tips and tricks should you know before you pack into that area security wise? Find out all these things. Another thing is the environment, and there's no how you know about the environment without asking neighbors. What kind of people live in that environment? Is it cultists? Is it dangerous boys? Is it dangerous girls? How is the environment generally? Are your neighbors troublesome people? You need to find out these things, because yes, I understand that there are certain things that you need in the house, but there are certain problems that you get yourself involved in just because of the environment that lodge is situated in, and you'll be able to avoid all these things if you do your research. Another thing I will tell you is please use a trusted agent. Make sure that the person that you're using as your agent comes highly recommended. Don't just use any random person you see online. Agents can be very fraudulent. They can make you pay rent into the wrong account number. And I will still keep on going back to talking to residents of your lodge or wherever you want to stay. They would let you know, okay, this is the account I paid my rent in, and even the Bible said from the mouth of 2 or 3 a matter is established. By the time you hear from all these people living in that house, and then you compare the account number to what the agent is telling you to pay into, you'll be able to know that there's something fishy that is going on here. But how will you know if you don't make your research? How would you know if you do not ask the residents questions? So be sure of whoever you're using as your agent, so you will not fall a victim of scams and you will not pay your rent into the wrong account number. And that brings me into the last point. Please make sure that you keep your tellers. I remember a situation that I had in my former lodge. I finished paying and they asked me to submit my teller so that they would give me rent receipt. My dear, I submitted that teller and then the person that we submitted to disappeared, like whether he was sacked or something. And then the landlord now brought a new lawyer. In fact, things changed and they were like, okay, you guys should bring out your teller or your rent receipt or you get kicked out. And I was like, okay, now this is serious. Many people had to rush to the bank to see if they can get the spare tellers because most of us submitted to those people. But those who were able to photocopy their tellers before submitting the originals were safe. I was lucky because I snapped it. And it was that snapshot that I used to print out to submit. So please be on the safe side. After paying your rent, make sure you photocopy that teller and keep. Yes, I know that in this time you may want to do transfer, but why would you risk doing transfer when you can just walk into the bank, make payments and have a cogent proof of payment? Please forget about the transfer. Go to bank, pay that 50 naira or the 100 naira or the 200 or whatever. Pay that money and go to bank and get bank teller. It is nothing compared to the hundreds of thousands of naira that you would spend and waste just because you wanted to save 50 naira or save 5 minutes that you would have spent lining up in the bank. Now this brings us into the pros and cons of staying off camp. Of course, I'm going to start with the pros. Let's start with the positive energy. The number one pro, of course, if you have watched my other video on the pros and cons of staying in the school hostel, you will know that the number one pro of staying off camp is privacy. God, I do not joke with my privacy. One thing I love so much about staying off campus is the privacy that I have. I can, do whatever I want to do. I have my space. Nobody infringes upon my space. Nobody comes to my house except they take permission from me, except they call me. If you come to my house and you're not my closest friend, nobody is opening that door for you. So it's just that privacy that I love about staying off camp. The second thing I love so much about staying off camp is no drama zone. The peace of mind. I come back from school, lay on my bed, spread my legs. I want to stay naked, I stay naked. Like, I'm just so comfortable wherever I am. I don't need to act drama with anybody. Nobody is there telling me you carried my oil, you carried my comb, you shifted my this from this. No drama zone, my dear. You have your peace of mind if you're staying off campus. Another thing is you can make your plans without anybody interrupting you. As a YouTuber, I can sit down and shoot my videos whenever I like without having to beg my roommate, oh please, I want to shoot video, can you be quiet for 2 seconds, or beg, nah. I stay in my room, shoot my videos when I want to shoot my videos, edit my videos when I want to edit them without having to take permission from nobody. That is king. Alright guys, the video was too long. By tomorrow I'm going to upload the cons, the disadvantages of staying off camp, and of course the rest of the advantages of staying off camp. With all this said, my name is Jemima. Bye.